Welcome everybody to this Meaningful Monday. So this is a recorded one, as you probably are well aware, because I'm not around on the actual Monday, the first Monday of March. I'm traveling in the US. So this is a very, very good lesson, and I'm really excited to share this with you. So just for the people, if anyone is new to Meaningful Monday, a very warm welcome. And if you're not new, a very warm welcome to you too. This is not only for Silva graduates, it's for non-Silva graduates, it's for everybody. And if you find value in this Meaningful Monday or any previous one that you may have listened to, please feel free to share it. They're all on YouTube, on Silva Method Australia YouTube channel. If anything's been helpful for you, please share it with others and help, improve people's knowledge, their awareness, and the goal is to help them live better and better lives, and we can all make a difference. All right, so really Meaningful Monday is about the awareness that we do create our own reality, and what a wonderful segue into tonight's, or today, whichever time you're listening to this lesson, about creating our own reality. What I'm going to share with you today is an introduction to the most wonderful and probably, arguably, the best written personal development book of all time. Many people have said it's the best written book of all time, never mind just personal development. So it's not only personal, it's also business. It's a spiritual book as well as it is a mind expansion and personal growth book. So welcome to everyone, and thank you so much for joining. We're going to spend about 50 minutes together going through this, and then I'll do a guided meditation at the end, and that's just setting the intention for the month. So just to tell you how I came about to do this Think and Grow Rich webinar, basically I've done a Think and Grow Rich mastermind twice with the president of the John Maxwell team. His name's Paul Martinelli. Let me put that in context. First of all, the John Maxwell team is, for those of you who don't know who John Maxwell is, he's the world's #1 leadership author and speaker. And he's got this global team. We're about 23,000 people now around the world. And the president of the John Maxwell team is the most amazing person called Paul Martinelli. And he came from rags to riches. I'll tell you a bit more about that. But essentially, this guy studied this book, Think and Grow Rich, for over 25 years, this wonderful book. And he's taught it, and he's read it thousands of times, and he's taught it hundreds of times. I don't know if it's thousands, but definitely read it more than 1,000 times. So I learned from him and did 2 masterminds with him, and subsequent to that, I bought the license to teach it. So I'm sharing this with you because I do really have the most amazing insights into this book, which is way, way deeper than trying to read this on your own, which I have done many times over before I did the mastermind with Paul. So if anyone's read this book, great, you'll enjoy tonight. If you haven't read this book, great, you'll still enjoy tonight. You'll learn something from it. It'll give you an insight as to what this is all about. And you don't really have to have read it to join this webinar. All right, so let's just kick off then. And let's start off with thinking about where we are right now in 2019. So think about yourself. Think about your lives right now. Think about what are some of the goals that you have for 2019. I'll tell you, I don't know how you set goals, or if you have set goals or haven't. Even if you think to yourself you haven't set goals, you actually do have goals. It's anything in your mind that you think that you'd like. If you'd like better something, more something, different something, those are goals. Whether you've been intentional about writing them down and claiming them as goals or not, you do have goals. So one thing I like to do when I set goals is I like to set tithing goals. Now, tithing might be a biblical word for some. It doesn't mean it comes from the Bible, and it doesn't mean that I'm giving 10% of my earnings to my church. First of all, that's not what I do anyway. I mean, I'm a spiritual person, and yes, I am a Christian, but I don't really follow any particular belief system or doctrine, so I wouldn't be giving it to any particular church. But I still do tithe. So tithe means that you give away a percentage of every dollar that you earn to help other people for their benefit, people who are more disadvantaged than what I am. So I like to set tithing goals, and I'll tell you, it's another lesson on its own. It could take a whole hour to teach it, but tithing should really be giving 10% of every dollar you earn, and it's very it's a spiritual practice to try and do that, because it's easy to give away 5%. I think we could all do that if we just tried. But to give away 10%, if you think about how much you earn, and 10%, it's quite a significant amount of money, and it's just that little bit of a test for us. So I like to think about tithing goals, and if I can increase my tithing goals, then I know that I'm making a difference in other people's lives. And it doesn't have to be people as in human beings. I do give a lot of my tithing money to animal and environmental causes as well. So it can be anything. It doesn't have to be, it can be, animals, the environment. It can be organizations, can be churches, can maybe communities more disadvantaged than you, whatever it may be. All right, so I told you how I came across the book. What I can tell you is studying the book Think and Grow Rich with Paul Martinelli really did change my life. It benefited me in so many ways. Most of all, it changed the way I think. And I say that deliberately that way because the title of the book is Think and Grow. This book is about personal growth. It's not about making fortunes of money and, oh, here we go, we are all millionaires. It's about really personal growth. It changes the way you think. And if you change the way you think, it's going to change the way you feel. If you change the way you feel, you're going to change your attitude. If you change your attitude, you're going to change your behavior. And if you change your behavior, my friends, that's how you change your results. Okay. And because this made such an impact on me, that's why I bought the license. I want to make an impact on other people's lives. And that's why I'm sharing this with all of you. Now, many people ask me, how can I get a copy of this recording, or can they get a copy? I'll just get this out the way. If you want this particular lesson or share it with anyone, it will also be available on the YouTube channel, Silva Method Australia. So if you want to share this with anyone, if you enjoy this as we go through it, please do share it with others. There's no limitation or restriction. Also, I'll put it on Facebook that the recording is out, and it'll be on the YouTube channel. So you want to share that on Facebook, you can do that as well. Okay, so when it comes to this book, it talks about applying the secret in the book. And if you apply the secret in the book, it can change your life. So there is a secret in the book, and it appears in many chapters, not just one. And it's written in this way, I suppose, to create intrigue, that you keep reading with a kind of changed awareness that you're looking, can I find the secret? Can I find the secret? Is this the secret? And you go through paragraphs and you think, I found the secret. So he talks about the secret that will change your life, and it absolutely will change your life. So before I go into, I'm not going to give away the actual secret, but I will tell you that there are some core principles in the book, Think and Grow Rich. So let me just cover off these 6 core principles, which are really important to get out before we even get into any more of the lesson. And when you hear these, this might help you get a better understanding of why this is such a valuable piece of work to study, not just to read the book, but to actually study it, which we can do in a mastermind. And I am going to offer a mastermind at the end of this webinar to anyone who wants to join. And we study the book together to get us a much, much deeper level of richness and depth out of the teaching of the book. So the first principle is that there is one power and one presence that governs this entire universe, that governs everything. So this power can be referred to, as in the book, it's referred to as infinite intelligence. You could call it universal power. You can call it universal intelligence. You can call it, in my world, I call that God. I refer to it as God, which is G-O-D. Wayne Dyer used to refer to that as the grand overall designer, G-O-D. So that's the first one, is to accept and have the awareness that there is one power that governs everything. So it is from this one power that all things are created, all things. Nothing is outside of it. The second one is that this power operates by law. What I mean by that is there are universal laws that govern this entire universe. And I'll give you another law. There's like a law of gravity. The law of gravity is always real. It's always something you can trust. It's always consistent. You don't have to believe in it. It still applies. That's also a law. But the specific universal laws I'm referring to here about creating more wealth or a better life for yourself refers to specific 7 universal laws. Now, please, if you don't know what they are or you missed the Meaningful Monday from January, I absolutely urge you, in fact, I beg you, please, please, please go back and watch the January Meaningful Monday. It's called Living in Harmony with Universal Law. You do need to watch that to get a broad awareness and understanding of what I'm going to share with you here. So make sure that you do watch it if you haven't watched it already. But otherwise, the universal laws I'm talking about, for example, the law of rhythm. Tide goes in, tide goes out. It's always like that. The sun always rises in the east and sets in the west. That's because the earth turns. That is governed by law. We can't stop that, interfere with that. Even if we don't believe in it, it still applies. There's the law of cause and effect, known as the law of all laws. Every cause has an equal and opposite effect. There's the law of polarity. There's the law of transmutation, that energy changes form, it transmutes. There's the law of gender. Everything has a gestation period. So you need to really know these laws to understand how you create your own reality. Because I'll tell you this, I've said it before, even in the February Meaningful Monday, goal setting, what goal you want. So think about your goals for 2019. Goal setting is an intellectual process, but goal achieving or goal manifesting is a lawful process. And you must understand the universal laws so that you can live in harmony with them, so you can create your own reality with ease. If you don't understand these laws, you'll be fighting up against the wrong thing all the time, banging your head against a wall, and life can be difficult, frustrating, and tiring. But when you understand the laws and live in harmony with them, you'll find that manifestations become more effortless. You are happier. You have a sense of inner peace. You know that you can trust these laws because they're consistent. The third one is to seek a greater awareness of your oneness with this power. So that's our role. Our role is to seek this awareness that we are really one with this power. We're not separate. We think we're separate from God sometimes, and we're really not. Our awareness may be diverted, but that's us and our awareness. But we really are always one with this power. And because we are one with this power, this is our power. We can tap into this infinite power at any time. If you think of anyone who's performed miracles, anyone, doesn't have to be Jesus. There are many saints who've walked around this planet, performed miracles. It's not their power. It's the infinite power of God through them. I mean, even in the Bible, it said when that woman touched Jesus' cloak and she was healed, he turned to her and it said, "It was your faith that made you well." He never said, "I healed you." He said it was your faith that made you well, because with the faith, you tap into this one universal source. So that's the other principle that we need to really get into this book. So you can see already, this is a lot of spirituality enrichment in Think and Grow Rich, besides just being a book about money. Certainly, there's no value in creating wealth in money if there's no spiritual richness in your life. It's got to be a rich spiritual life, and that's why I'm sharing this with you now. Okay, number 4 is a truth that is greater than your conditions and circumstances. What I mean by this is, you may look at your life. You may look at your current conditions and your current circumstances. I don't know what your life is right now. But let's say there's any area of your life that's difficult. Or if it comes to money, that you're struggling, that it's difficult to afford things that you really want. Some of you, even to make ends meet. For others, it may be desiring greater things that you'd like to do or choices you'd like to make, but money is restricting. And you look at those conditions and those circumstances, and you think that's your truth. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's not your truth. That's just the facts of your life right now. They're the facts. This is how much money you have. This is how much money you want, whatever it may be. But it's not your truth. And when people get stuck in life, it's because they don't know what the truth is. And the truth is, there's one universal power. It operates by law. You are one with this power, and you have access to this power. And if you understand how to live your life in harmony with these universal laws, you have infinite potential. You do. This is proven by Maslow many years ago. You have infinite potential. You can tap into this power, And if you know how to live in harmony with it, you can create anything in your life. So your circumstances today are not your truth. That's the most important one, I think, out of all of these, is to know that your circumstances are not your truth and they're not your future. They are just a manifestation of your previous thinking. So whatever you've been thinking and feeling for the past, I don't know, month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, what your life is right now is a manifestation of that. You can create anything in the future, understanding these truths, these principles that I'm sharing here. There is no limitation to what you can do. The fifth one is that facts cannot overpower you. That's what I'm talking about. Your conditions and circumstances don't have power over you. If you think they do, I apologize in advance, but I'll be brutal now. You have a victim mentality. If you think the facts and circumstances of your life have power over you, you have a victim mentality, and the truth is, I cannot help you. No one can help you. This book cannot help you, or any other personal development book can help you. You've got to shift that mindset and create a new awareness that you create your own reality. You have dominion over all things. Over all things. And how do we have dominion over all things? Well, think pink right now. Think of a red apple right now. Think of a blue car, a blue Ferrari. Just think of it in your mind, right? Think of a happy person smiling. Think of a banana. The fact that you can decide what you're going to think, I made silly examples there, but I'm trying to illustrate a point. The fact that you can choose what you think is the starting point for dominion over all things, because you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. So victim mentality is thinking that life happens to us and we are just victims here and we just have to struggle and work out how to survive. That's not how life works. I thought life was like that, to be honest. I'll be very honest with you. So, if you had a different thought, there's forgiveness here. So when I came to the awareness, it was in 2006 when I watched the movie The Secret, and I realized, no, I create my own reality. And I thought, wow, really? And I created with my thoughts and with my feelings. So when you realize that you can think any thought, which instantly creates an emotion or a feeling, you can't control that. It's how we are designed. That thinking and feeling is the creative power. We become what we think about, and we create what we think about, whether we want it or not. Even if you don't want debt, if you think about it all day long, you will get debt. The same way as you can choose to think about this infinite source that you're connected to, living in a fantastic, amazing universe that you can trust, that's consistent because it's governed by law, God's laws. Then you can have faith in a new future for yourself. And it's through that we have this understanding of number 5, which is facts cannot overpower you. You have dominion over all things because you can control your thoughts. Number 6 is, do not concern yourself with fixing others. This is really important. If you have any issue with anybody in your life or anything in your life, but let's talk about other people, it's not our role. It's not our job to fix other people. If we're not happy in any circumstance, it's not about them getting fixed. I think, I think it was Wayne Dyer who said, if all the troubles in your life will be cured, if all of the people in your life went to a psychiatrist, then you have a major problem. Because the problem is not other people. It's always back to us. So don't concern yourself with fixing other people. We need to come from a place where we trust this one divine source, and a place that we even trust that this one divine source is, governing everything and will sort out everything. So it's not our job to have judgment and judge other people, and through that judgment think that we can even fix other people. We need to trust that that's not up to us, that's up to God. And to know that we are one with God, which is number 3. And knowing that we are one with this infinite source, this can deepen our trust and our understanding in a power greater than us, which we can tap into and is really the one that is deciding or governing everything around us. We are only responsible for ourselves, what we think and what we feel, and how we conduct our own behavior. So when we go through Think and Grow Rich, it's a phenomenal book. It really deepens our trust and our understanding of this one universal source. And this is really why I love and I'm excited to teach this book as a mastermind, because what this is really saying is, if you have a really in-depth understanding of these 6 core principles, it means you can develop a whole new level of faith. Faith in a power greater than you, and faith in yourself, because you are one with this infinite source. And faith, my friends, is the power principle of all time. It's the change agent of all time. It's the most powerful change agent. Miracles only happen because of faith. Your life can be transformed because of faith. And everything that goes wrong in our lives, I have to say it, is because of fear. And the opposite of fear is faith. So this book is the most phenomenal personal development book to help us develop, amongst many things, more faith. Okay, here's a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson that says, "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment." And this is very true. We need to be ourselves in this world, and we need to not conform to this mass thinking. You know, I have to say it, a lot of marketing, even in the fashion world, kind of tries to get people to want to all be the same. If we don't look this way or behave this way, then we are different. I'm saying no, be yourself, stand out and be different. Mass thinking is a very low level of awareness. There are 7 levels of awareness. I won't get into that now, but the lowest is animal, where you just react. And the second level of awareness, right down at the bottom there, is mass thinking. And as you go up, you become more inclined to be an individual. You want to apply self-discipline in your life. You want to practice more and more to have discipline, like you choose to do something to improve your life, and you actually stick to that promise to yourself. And through a lot of experience and practice, over time, that's how we gain a level of mastery. So don't try and be everybody else. Just try and be you. And why I'm really excited about this Think and Grow Rich mastermind that I'm going to be putting together is we're not just going to study the work of Napoleon Hill. No, we're going to be studying into this in an integrated way, also the work of Jose Silva. So for those of you who are watching as Silva Method graduates, you know who Jose is. For those of you who don't, Jose Silva is the founder of the Silva Method, which is a 4-day dynamic meditation program that I train and teach, which is the longest lasting, scientifically proven, in my opinion, best personal development program of all time. And we'll be sharing and studying the works of Jose Silva. We will also be learning about Thomas Troward. We'll be learning about Dr. Thurman Fleet. We'll also learn a little bit about the teachings of Dr. Wayne Dyer, about Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, and Wallace D. Waddles, who wrote The Secret Science of Getting Rich, which was the book that inspired Rhonda Byrne to make the movie The Secret, the work of Mike Dooley. So not only masters or great people that have inspired me, but also inspired Paul Martinelli, that when he taught me the work, I got to learn about some other new teachers out there, but also through my own work and own experience. So we will really have a lot of depth and complexity to the teachings in Think and Grow Rich to really expand it, to make it a far more rich and like widened view of the world, and through the depth of this book in an integrated form. So it's more valuable to everyone if you do join. I just want to also say that it's natural for us to seek growth. It's natural for us to seek wisdom. So this quote here that says, the world, you know, the greatest thing is that you can, you know, be yourself, and the whole world's trying to make you the same, or they're trying to make you something else, is really important, because it's natural for us to seek growth. It's natural for us to seek wisdom, but it's not normal. And what I mean by not normal is, if you think about what normal is staying in your comfort zone. That's why staying in your comfort zone feels so comfortable, because it's normal. When we start to grow, like think and grow rich, we're going to be out of our comfort zone. And that's not normal, but it is natural. So this feeling that you want to break free from what is the norm, like in this quote, is what is required to grow in life and change your current conditions and circumstances for the better. Okay, so what does this really mean? Apostle Paul said, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So this book, Think and Grow Rich, is going to focus on the transformation of your thinking. Remember, I said to you, you can think banana, you can think blue Ferrari, you can think anything you want. You may not realize it, but 95%, approximately, according to neuroscience, 95% of all your thoughts are on autopilot, automatic, repeated patterns. Your thinking is habitual. So if we want to change our lives, we need to change our thinking. So to change our thinking, we need to become very intentional, because it means we have to change these habitual patterns. So here, what Apostle Paul is saying, do not conform to the pattern of this world. That's mass thinking. The same thing like everybody else. Everyone's thinking the same thing. We don't change the way we think. That's the pattern. That's the old pattern that, your habitual pattern of thinking. But be transformed. So you change you change your thinking, and as a result, you change your life. And this is by renewing your mind. So I love the idea of doing a mastermind on Think and Grow Rich, because it's on the outside world that we're going to work on a physical book, maybe making notes, discussing it and things like that. But renewing of your mind is also in the inside world, changing the way you think. And for those of you who've done the Silva method, I just want to say that you guys have a massive, massive advantage when you study this book to get faster and deeper and sustainable results. If you can also apply the Silva method, where you go into dynamic meditation and use visualization to make deeper impressions on the subconscious mind for longer lasting results. This book does it too. However, Napoleon Hill doesn't quite do what the Silva method does. So there is an advantage. And if you mix these two, oh my goodness, I can just say it's a recipe for enormous and sustainable success. Okay, so to not conform to the patterns, we have to release our old thinking patterns and adopt new thinking patterns, and this is renewal. So my question is the real victory the goal? So let's say with Think and Grow Rich, you do need to have a goal, and it's a financial goal, so it's a specific amount of money. I love this, guys. Please, I love this. You've got to understand why. Because it's measurable. If you, for example, I don't know what it is, if you earned any number, $50,000 a year, and you said you wanted to increase that to any number, $70,000 a year, $100,000, whatever it may be, you have a goal, but it's measurable. So if you achieve that goal, which you will do, if you study this book and apply the principles that he calls the secret in the book, and you apply the 13 principles, there's 13 in this book, consistently, you will achieve your goal. You will. No one has ever studied Think and Grow Rich and applied all the principles and not achieved their goal and become very wealthy. I'll say this, millions of people, they've already sold 7 million copies, and there are probably 20 million copies sold by now. Millions of people have read this book, but not millions of people are rich. Why? Why aren't they? Because they don't apply with consistency and full total application the principles in this book. So my question is the real victory the goal? Getting that number at the end. Is accomplishing the goal the real win? I'd say it's a bonus. The real win is what Paul Martinelli says here. The real win is not in getting something, not in getting that financial number. The win is the wisdom to know God's voice in our life above all other voices. My friends, this is intuition. Paul calls it God's voice. Wayne Dyer says, if prayer is when I'm talking to God, then intuition is when God is talking to me or you. So it is to know God's voice. This is intuition. One of the chapters in this book is called The Sixth Sense. It's a chapter on intuition. For those of you who've done the Silva method, you'll know that the Silva method, out of the 4-day program, 2 days is intuition training. Why? Why intuition? Because it's the single most valuable skill you can develop in your life, hands down. To know your intuition, to know that voice, which in terms here, God's voice, to discern that voice in your life from fear, to discern that voice in your life from wishful thinking. So that is what this book does. There's a chapter on the subconscious mind. There's a chapter on imagination. There's a chapter on the sixth sense. So much about this book is about divine inspiration and ideas. And that's what comes. As you study this book, you start getting these divine ideas, and that's intuition. And that's actually the first manifestation of going towards your goal is an idea. So if you're making notes, my friends, please write this down. The first manifestation is an idea. An idea is a spiritual seed. It comes from that one universal source, from that one universal power. So this is really important when thinking about the value of doing Think and Grow Rich. I cannot tell you how valuable it is to trust your intuition and get to know that voice in your life, because it guides you. And let me tell you that I love this also because you can create your own reality. You learn how to create your own reality through doing this mastermind or the Silva method, or both. They are so well complementary. It's in fact, it's quite uncanny. And they were both works were done about the same time. This book was published in 1936, 1937, same time as Jose was developing the Silva method. So it's quite uncanny. But what I love about it is when you learn how to create your own reality, it means that, there was a time in my life I thought the cards that I were dealt were the cards I have to settle for. But that's not true. The cards that you dealt with, whatever they are for you in your life right now, you can chuck those cards back into the center of the table and decide to get a new hand. It's up to you. You can have that choice. When it says in the Bible, dominion over all things, it means you do have dominion over all things. You have dominion, first and foremost, over your thinking. So you can create the life of your own design. You can. All right. So what we need to do is our thinking, our behavior, our habits, our beliefs, they must be congruent. What I mean is, they must be congruent from where you are right now in your life. If you've got a piece of paper in front of you, draw something on the left that says here and put a block around it. You're in a place called here right now, your current conditions and circumstances. Then go across there and there's a place called there. That's where you want to be. That's your goal destination point. Okay, what we call our arrival point. When you've arrived, that's a place called there. In order for you to actually go or grow from here to there, to achieve what you want to achieve, it means that where you are today, your current departure point, where you are now, where you're going to be moving from, you need to have your thinking congruent with your arrival point, that place called there. This is hard to do. Let's just say you're struggling financially. How do you have your thinking abundantly, which is the place called there, if your current situation is one of struggle? How? This book teaches you that, because you do need your current, where you are now, with your current conditions and circumstances that may not be ideal. Even in these circumstances, we need to have our thinking, our behaviors, how we act, the choices we make, the behaviors that we take, our habits. This is massive. Habits. 95% of all the things you do are habits. We need to have our habits and our beliefs, what we believe about ourselves, about the world, about God, about everything. They have to be congruent with this end point, which we call our arrival point. And that takes some work. So here are 4 requirements. The first requirement is an abundant and prosperity conscious mindset. If you have a mindset of lack and limitation, nothing can change your conditions. They cannot change. And the reason for that is whatever you think creates a vibration, a mood, an emotional state, which we call our vibration. Whatever you think. So if you're thinking lack and limitations, whatever that vibration is, you're like a radio emitting a signal, a radio station emitting a signal. You can only attract into your life a vibrational match to that you are vibrating. Everything that comes in your life is a vibrational match. There's no way you can think lack and limitation and attract abundance. It's not a match. So the first thing is we need to have an abundant mindset. And let me talk about that. I had an abundant mindset even when I was struggling financially years ago. What I mean by that is I knew there was abundance. You just have to look outside the window. In front of me here, I see, I don't know how many, 10, 20 trees. There's an abundance of leaves. I couldn't even count the leaves on one tree. Let alone how many trees. There's an abundance. As you count the last leaf, another 10 have grown. So you can never really count. It's infinite. You couldn't count the grains of sand on the beach. You couldn't count the cups of water in the ocean. It's infinite. It's endless. It's abundant. The air you breathe, if we all took a deep breath in, we would never deprive anyone of a breath of air. It's abundant. So even though with a conscious, logical mind, you have an abundance awareness, and you can look at rich people who have a lot more than what we do, and we can acknowledge abundance in their lives, that's different to having the awareness of it in your own life. Abundance mindset is seeing it out there amongst people, nature, the universe. A prosperity mindset is saying, for me too. I see abundance everywhere, and it's for me too. I'm prosperous. I too can tap into this abundance. So that's a mindset. And the good thing is with mindsets, we can change them. It's not automatic, it takes work, but we can change them. And if you change your mindset, you change your results. The second one is expand our awareness of what's possible. We need to expand our awareness of what's possible. We've got to look at our lives and say, if I wanted to double my income, some people might just think, oh gosh, that's ridiculous. That's impossible. I don't know. Or you may think, yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I could double my income. Someone might say, triple your income. And some of you might say, it's impossible. Others of you might say, nothing's impossible. Anything is possible. So I'm just here to tell you that because this universe operates by law and everything is a vibrational match and your mindset determines what vibration you're in, nothing is impossible. And I'm talking about money here because of the specific book, Think and Grow Rich. But in the Silva method, I'm just looking over there at all the books that we sell at the back of the room. We've got books like The Biology of Belief or Conscious Medicine or The Divine Matrix or You Are the Placebo, where you know that your beliefs can change your physiology, and people have come back from full body paralysis, extreme conditions. So nothing is impossible. So we need to also, it's a requirement to be successful in studying the book and changing your results. You've got to start saying, it's possible. For me too, it's possible. Double my income, triple my income, whatever it may be for you, it's possible. The next one is to change the image that you have of yourself. Now it says develop the image in yourself. I mean inside your own mind. Your self-image is different to the way anyone else sees you. I'll say it again. Your self-image is different. Your self-image is just your image that you hold in your mind of who you are, what you are, how you are, what you deserve. It's not the image that other people have of you. Now, whatever image you have of yourself today is equivalent to what you are earning. You cannot earn more than your self-image, self-worth, self-value. You cannot earn more money than your own self-image. So a requirement to do the study, a requirement to think and grow rich is to change that self-image to one of a person earning that much more in order for it to manifest in our lives. So look at the back of the board. I don't know if you can see that, but there on the whiteboard is that little stick man. Some of you may have seen me teach that in the Self-Sabotage Meaningful Monday. If you have, great. If you haven't, go watch it, or it doesn't really matter. We'll be going into this in the mastermind. That little stick man diagram is the conscious mind on the top and the subconscious mind at the bottom, and understanding that we can make impressions in the subconscious mind, change our self-image, which changes our beliefs, which automatically changes our results. And for those of you who are Silva graduates, you're going to love this, because you can use Mirror of the Mind to make faster, deeper, and long-lasting impressions using Mirror of the Mind to do what is required to change your self-image. And the fourth one is recognize that your life is happening through you, not to you. You are a creative being. Victims think life happens to them, but powerful, creative, aware people know that we create our reality and life happens through us. You know, I want you to think of yourself, your mind, as a movie camera. And I want you to think of, from the movie camera, shines the light out onto the screen. And you can see the movie on the screen. That movie is a reflection of the real, right? A reflection of the real. The light shines through that real. I want you to know that your life, everything, the circumstance, conditions in your life are a reflection of you, a reflection of your mindset. So life happens through you. Whatever you see in your life is coming out the projector. That's what you see on the screen. That's your life. But the projector is you, your mind, your thinking, and your feelings. That's you. So life happens through you. So it just says here, think happy. If you think happy, you'll be happy. You will create circumstances in your life that will make you more happy. Because the truth is, it's the law of attraction. You get what you think about, whether you want it or not. Some people say, I don't want to be sick. I don't want to be sick. They don't get well. They've got to say, I want health. You get what you think about. Think health. Think perfect health. Think abundance. Think prosperity. If you say, I don't want debt, it's what you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. So it's about mind over matter, really, to be more clear. Mind over matter is when you're forcing your mind over things. So in other words, you decide you're going to take action, make it happen, to-do lists, force things in this way. Then you're coming from a place of force, and force negates. It's like you want to work against the poverty in your life. You want to work against the sickness in your life. That's force, mind over matter. Versus a different way is mind into matter. Mind into matter is our mind is actually the source of the manifestation of that matter. And mind into matter, which has us taking our rightful place in God's plan of creation, where we are causative beings. So the law of cause and effect. We are causative beings. What we think, we are causing an effect. We are causative beings in the cycle of all creation. The law of cause and effect says for every cause, there's an equal and opposite effect. If you think prosperity, that's a cause. If you feel prosperous, that's a cause. When you start believing in this one source that governs the universe, you start getting divinely inspired ideas. That's an effect. You're now causing an inspired idea. That's like the first manifestation, as I said. That's intuition, maybe. If you act on that, that's a cause. If you act, you'll get a result. So we are causative beings in our cycle of creation. So basically, one way to create your life is working from the outside in. That's like forcing. You're trying to act on all the circumstances and people around you. Versus the other has us starting at the center of our being, from the inside out. The inside of your mind change. As it said, Paul, the Apostle Paul said, We'll be transformed by renewing our mind. When we change the mind we have, that's what it says when we think. We change the way we think. You will grow. You will grow as a person, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. You will grow and be transformed. And that's from the inside when you change. The outside changes, like that video camera or that camera shining your life as a reflection. So as much as we're thinking about our goal, what we're talking about really is breaking the patterns of what keeps us from having it. And the patterns that keep us from having it, you don't know what they are. Because if you did know, you would have everything already. I don't know what's keeping me from more than I want. I don't know. You won't know. If you knew, you would have achieved it already. So this book is about that. This book, Think and Grow Rich, is about uncovering what those patterns are that's keeping us away from, more or achieving what we want. And really what it requires in our life is that John Maxwell says here, you'll never change your life until you change something you do daily, daily, daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine, your daily agenda. That's why Think and Grow Rich has got the secret in the book, which are these 6 steps, and you have to apply them daily. And it talks about persistence. If you don't apply them daily with persistence, you can't really get it. So here it comes. When we want transformation in our lives, transformation occurs when we become aware of an idea that has the potential to free us, and then we follow the process of nurturing that idea to life. And how wonderful to do this in a mastermind of supported and like-minded people, because it keeps you on track of a different level of awareness. And then we start to have intuition, and then we start to get ideas, and then we have ideas that have the potential to free us. And then if we follow through on those ideas through a process over time and nurture that idea to life, then we transform permanently. And so do our results. How beautiful is that? Okay. Manifest a future that is by design rather than by default. How do you manifest a future that is by design? Because default is how it is without awareness and without intentionality. How? Well, it's through learning new skills. It's through changing the way you think. So my promise to you is, if you join this mastermind in these 8 weeks together, through the Think and Grow Rich Mastermind, I will show you how to do this. We will study in depth the 13 principles in this book. We will bounce off each other how we are applying them, integrating them in our life. They say knowledge without application is pointless. Write that down if you're making notes, please. Knowledge without application is pointless. That's why millions have read this book and they haven't changed a thing in their lives. How many of you have read this book or know people that have read this book and they say, I've read Think and Grow Rich, great book, but their lives haven't changed? It's because it requires application at a very, very deep level. So what I promise you is that you can learn to create a life of predictable results. You know that the laws of the universe are consistent, and with that knowing, you know with certainty you can create predictable results. Now, until I watched The Secret in 2006, I never had any of this awareness. I studied most of the teachers in the movie The Secret. If you haven't seen the movie, please do watch it. Then I started doing the Silva method. It's now 10 years ago. Practicing. It changed my life so significantly. I became a Silva trainer. That's working from the inside out as well. What I mean is, through all this learning in my life, I learned that everything, the law of creation, is from the inside out. It's not living from the outside in. And knowing this can literally change your life. Now, when you think about yourself at this point, how is it that you're listening to this recording? You're listening to this webinar. I ask in your life, is it coincidence? Is it coincidence that you are listening to this? Or do you think you manifested this into your life? Do you think this is one of the first manifestations for a transformation in your life? Do you think this is a manifestation of an opportunity for you to change old patterns that have been holding you back? How do you know? How do you know the difference? How do you know if it is a manifestation or this is just coincidence that you're listening to this webinar? This is what I want for you. I want you to know that everything in your life is a reflection of you, that you created it. So I'm saying to you, there is no coincidence that you're listening to this. None at all. Let's just look at why people read this book and fail. There are two reasons why many people read this book and they fail. The first one is most people are unwilling to invest in themselves to learn a new way to discern. I've put the word discern in capital letters. And discern what? What are you here to discern? What do you think you're here to discern? That's what I'm saying. How do you know if this is a manifestation or this is a random coincidence that you're listening to this webinar? You've got the opportunity to join a Think and Grow Rich mastermind that could potentially change your life. How do you know? Because most people are unwilling to invest in themselves to learn a new way to discern. Discern what? Is to discern the voice of faith over fear. To discern the voice of God in your life. To discern what's intuition. To discern what's the right opportunity for you. To discern if making this decision for you is the right one or not. The way that you do that is through personal growth, personal development. When we learn ourselves, we understand ourselves better. Intuition is a perfect example. For any of you who've done the Silva method, you know how much you can learn to trust your intuition after the Silva method and how that can change things for you. If you haven't done it, all right, never mind. I'll say to you, you still have intuition. You can still develop it. You can still learn to trust it. It's this discerning thing that you want in your life. And that's why many people who read this book don't invest in themselves enough, don't study the book and practice everything it says, because they're unwilling to learn a new way to discern that voice of faith over the voice of doubt, the voice of faith over the voice of fear in your life. Sorry, something just fell in the kitchen. So you want to also discern what are the old voices in your head saying, don't do this, I don't think I should do that. What is that old voice versus what is intuition that's guiding you? Take that course, do that thing, read that book. That's the one. The second one is they read the book solely focusing on their arrival point, meaning, oh, I want to have this 100,000 or 500,000 or million or 10 million, whatever the number is for the person. They focus solely on that money number. And they think that's why they're reading the book. There's one arrival point, which is the goal, the number. I understand there's one arrival point. One singular goal that you're working towards. But there's multiple departure points. These departure points are pieces of the journey towards your goal. Departure points are where you are today, your limiting beliefs, the doubts in your head, the voice that's talking to you, indecision, fear, doubt. These are all cousins, and they really interfere. So what's more important in Think and Grow Rich is the think and the grow. Change the way you think. We will learn how to do this in the mastermind. And through this, you will grow personally. As a result, you will get that arrival point, that one number at the end, the sole focus that people often think is what they're just here for. It's not. The achievement is in the growth. It says here, every person who wins in any undertaking must be willing to burn his ships and cut all sources of retreat. Only by so doing can he be sure of maintaining that state of mind It's known as a burning desire to win, which is essential to success. Essential means without it, there's no success. It's essential to success. You've got to have a burning desire. So when Napoleon Hill, that's his quote, when Napoleon Hill talks about burning his ships, he's talking about your old patterns of thinking. Think and grow rich. Your old patterns of thinking, your old beliefs, your old habits, your old, behaviors. You've got to burn those ties. You've got to cut them loose. There's no going back to your old way. You've got to change and become a person with a new way. And remember, growth takes place outside the comfort zone. So it's not going to be comfortable and it's not going to be easy. If it was easy, we'd all be perfect, but it's not. But it is possible and it is worth it. Absolutely, it's worth it. So this is really about understanding where you are in your life right now, determining what competing commitments do you have. Competing commitments with this goal that you want. What thoughts are competing with this goal that you want? What behaviors are you taking that's competing with what you want? Let's just talk about weight loss. The person wanted to be in perfect, ideal weight, in shape. When I say what behaviors are competing with that, it means you're eating the wrong things. Now you're taking behaviors that are competing with that goal that you want. So we have this even when it comes to money or creating whatever we want in our life. What competing commitments do you have in terms of your habits, in terms of your beliefs, in terms of the way you think? And also when we think something in our lives, like, I don't have that, I can't have that, it's just a belief. Some people think it's truth. It's not truth. I showed you truth earlier on those 6 requirements where it says you are one with universal source. It's an infinite power. So think and grow rich doesn't just mean money. It means a rich life. Rich in every aspect and specifically spiritually rich. Because one of the chapters in this book is faith. It's faith in a power greater than you. It's faith in that power that created you and this entire universe. And that infinite source, you are part of it. You are a physical extension of source energy. So I love this quote here. If you're one of those that believe that hard work and honesty alone will bring you riches, perish the thought. It's not true. Riches, when they come in huge quantities, are never the result of hard work. Listen to me. Are never the result of hard work. Never. Riches come, if they come at all, in response to definite demands based on the application of definite principles and not by chance or luck. So it's luck made to order. Remember I said predictable results? Luck made to order. Definite demands based on the application of definite principles, the 13 principles in this book, is how we get it. Okay, in my own life, I just got a note here. What the turning point for me in my life was when I lost my younger brother, and I decided I want to live my best life, somehow, some way. And I felt that I wasn't doing that at the time where I was in my corporate job. I was busy, I was successful, but I wasn't living my best life because rich, it wasn't about money. It was about a rich life. I wanted my life to have meaning. I wanted my life to have purpose. I wanted my life to be significant. I wanted it to be fulfilling. And I didn't really know how to get that, but I knew that's what I really wanted. And that was my dream. My dream was to have the freedom to do what I loved most, which is speaking, training, and coaching, and still have a rich life, even money-wise. And that for me was a massive goal because I didn't know how to do that. And I had no role models in my own family that explained how you leave corporate with a secure income and then create one as good or better. So I had a very clear arrival point of what I wanted, but I wasn't even aware of what my competing commitments were and my old beliefs that were holding me stuck or keeping me stuck in an old pattern in my life. And I didn't even realize that I had competing commitments. But I'll tell you this, my departure point belief was not only that I was going to have to work really hard to win, I believed that the only way anybody would be financially secure would be to climb the corporate ladder and to get to the top, unless you were a lucky one who came from a family line of entrepreneurs. And in my life, I never had that. So my departure point, where I was at the time, said, if you want more financial success, it had to be at the expense of freedom. So in other words, that's just the way the game is played. If I wanted more financial success, I had to give up my freedom and work for a corporate for the rest of my life. I never even realized it was a competing commitment, a competing belief, a competing way of thinking. That's an example for you. What do you have in your life that's competing with your dream? And this is what we uncover through studying this book. So if you're making notes, this is the most important thing. Being convinced in your belief is not the same as truth. Being convinced in your belief is not the same as truth. This is very, very powerful. So my beliefs were based on the facts of my life, the life that I had experienced, and I'd come to know that the facts in my life were just facts, and they were personal. They weren't my truth. My truth is universal. It's operated by law. It's all according to God's law. There's no limit to what I can achieve, but the facts of my life, they were personal. So when a person does not have the money that they need to live the life they want, that's a fact in your life, but it's not the truth. It's not the truth of God, who creates an abundant universe where you are given dominion over all things. So really important, if you're making notes, to write that one down. Your facts are not your truth. So until your departure point thinking is congruent with your arrival point, you will not completely get there. What I mean is, where you are today, a place called here, if it's not congruent, your thinking, with a place called there, the place you want to get to, if the way you think is not congruent, you will not get there. Why? Well, it's not enough to picture or to visualize. It's good, it will help you, but it's not enough. It's not enough to say positive affirmations or just to say, I'm going to think positively. It will help, it will certainly get you there, it will get you further, but it's not enough. It's not enough to just be hardworking or persistent. They're very important. Persistence is so important, so is hardworking. And to have a lot of desire is so important, but it's not enough. Until your or my departure point, where we are now, our departure point, thinking is congruent to your arrival point model, the model of perfection, this goal that you want. If the thinking is not congruent, you'll never fully get there. That's why you need to think and change that thinking to a new belief. And then you grow through that, and then that's how you manifest the riches. So how can I know if I have competing commitments to old patterns that aren't congruent with my dream? Well, the answer is, always look at where you are in your journey. And if it is not at your arrival point, if it's not the final goal end point, that it is a pretty convincing indication that you still have work to do. And the good thing is, we will always be like that. When you achieve the goal in the future, you will then have another goal. And when you achieve that, you'll have another. And when you achieve that, you'll have another. Why? God designed us this way. We are spiritual beings, designed for fuller expression and further expansion. It's the way we are designed. So we'll always have more work to do. This is an infinite process, whether it's in this lifetime or another, this physical world or a spiritual one, we'll always still have work to do. So the heart of the creative process is how you are as a being, that thinking, those patterns, because the way you think is the way you are. We call it being. So be, do, have. That's how it works. You can be, changes your behavior, the do, and then you have, you create results. So we are human beings We're not human doings. So we need to know how to be. So when you say, how do I be? How can I change the be? How can I be this congruent way of my arrival point? Well, Gandhi's famous quote, be the change you wish to see in the world. How do you know how to be? You've got to behave this way. You've got to think this way. You've got to feel this way. You've got to change inside to be as a person that change that you want. And how do we do this? And how do we create what we want? Well, it's very simple. You've all heard of the law of attraction. That's what it is. It's the law of attraction. So when our beingness, how we are, is congruent with our desire or our goal, then we attract the people, attract the circumstances, attract the conditions and the thoughts and whatever we need to get what we want. We then become that vibrational match that I spoke about. We become a match to that. So when you start being this abundant, prosperous person who you'd love to be, and you act that way, and you think that way, and you feel that way, boom, you become a vibrational match. Everything shows up in your life to help you. The universe conspires in your favor. But how do we alter and change our current departure point vibration to create that new vibration, to be that match? How do we do it? It starts with your departure point congruency with your arrival point goal. So it's this congruency of thinking, feeling, acting, habits, and behaviors. And also staying focused on truth. Remember, truth is universal law. Your facts and conditions of your conditions and circumstances in your life right now are not truth. They are just facts in your life right now. Being aware of that. So what does congruency look like? Well, we define this arrival point that we want to get. We then assess our departure point, so our starting point, the red one. We assess the departure point where we are. Then we look at our conflicting beliefs. Things like, oh, I can't earn that much money. I don't have enough time to work on another business or another venture to make me more money. I don't have the money to invest. It takes money to make money. All these limiting beliefs. Who am I? How can I, have so much? I'm not worthy. We then look at our conflicting beliefs in our life. And then what we need to do is challenge the conviction of those beliefs that we hold. Challenge them, challenge them, challenge them. Are these beliefs truth? Or are they just based on facts? Then what we do is we're going to seek to explore and discover our highest truth, universal truth. These laws in the universe. Remember, go back to January's Meaningful Monday. I'll explain all the laws in depth there for you. Please watch it. It's a requirement. So we seek to explore and discover the highest truth, universal truth about what is possible in our life. So the universe operates by law. Everything's possible. There's the law of cause and effect. You are the cause. You can create any cause. You can choose to think anything. You are the cause. You can create the effect. And if you do it repeatedly, you change your vibration. Whatever you vibrate at, you attract. That's the law of attraction. It's also called the law of vibration. Everything in this universe is vibrating, and we attract a vibrational match. So basically, from that, a new understanding and belief comes. We become aware of a new pattern of thinking, which allows us to have access to divinely inspired ideas. This is what I call the intuition. So if you want improvement in any area of your life and success, you're going to want to learn to work with and apply the laws of the universe. This is where ease happens. This is where intuition also kicks in. When you trust in the laws of the universe, you challenge your limiting beliefs, you trust in these laws and you're open to them, and you think to yourself every day, it's possible for me, it's possible for me. Intuition kicks in, your sixth sense, and you get these ideas. And those are divinely inspired ideas that can change your life. Now, we have 6 intellectual faculties of the mind. We have the willpower. We have reason. We have intuition. We have memory. We have perception. And we have imagination. Now, I didn't make a mistake with building the presentation and the font. We deliberately want intuition and imagination to be so big. Why? There's a whole chapter dedicated to intuition in the book called The Sixth Sense. In fact, will, number one, there's a whole chapter dedicated to persistence in the book. They're all important, but intuition and imagination specifically, for those of you who've done the Silva method will know, we call them, not us, but it's been deemed that the two faculties of genius are intuition and imagination. And we teach this in the Silva method, because in the Silva method on day 3 and 4, we stretch the imagination, we work the imagination, we do amazing guided visualizations and mental rehearsals of the most weird and wonderful things to massage and exercise the imagination. Why? It's through that and being able to imagine a better version of yourself, a better, richer life for yourself, better circumstances in your life, more abundance and prosperity in your life. If you can imagine that, you can achieve that. If you can't even imagine a life like that and get into that feeling and thinking place that's congruent with your arrival point, you can't manifest it. So you need to have a strong use of your imagination. And intuition, wow, that's where all the ideas come to take you there, because you will not know how. If you say double your income or whatever it is, you will not know how. My friends, if I knew how or you knew how, we would be there. We don't know how. You don't have to know how. Perish and destroy the thought. You don't have to know how. Just trust your intuition and the ideas come. All you've got to do is act on them straight away. When you have an idea, you've got to act on it. It will take you towards the achievement of this goal. Everything comes from one universal source. Okay, so why being part of a community is important? We think by challenging our current beliefs. And this is difficult to do on your own. That's why being part of a community or a mastermind is so important. We challenge the conviction of our own beliefs and we share this in discussion. It's also extremely helpful to have somebody guide you through your limiting BS. And I mean by that, your limiting belief systems. Don't know what you were thinking, but you do have limiting BS. Our belief systems are our BS. They interrupt our prosperity and where we want to get to in life. So creative thinking is the entertainment of new, more expansive ideas that's in harmony and congruent with your highest good and in alignment with universal truth. And this, my friends, this creative thinking is growth, like think and grow rich. Growth. So it says here, when our life begins to expand, we think and grow. And when we do that consistently over a period of time, when we follow a system over a period of time, we arrive at our goal and our lives are enriched through the process. Not enriched by just reaching the goal, by getting something better. We are really enriched by becoming a grander version of ourselves, becoming someone, becoming this best version of you. When you become someone, that's when our thinking and growing enriches our lives and we literally think and grow rich. That's growth. So this book is all about growth. And I know this is a process that works because I've applied it in my own life. And I've seen how Paul Martinelli applied it in his life. So it does work. It's a process of growth. You just got to stick to it, integrate it, and be dedicated to yourself. You make a commitment to yourself that you're going to do this for a better life for you. And studying this book together, so what I'm offering you really is the opportunity to just have me guide you through this process to teach these 13 principles in this book so that you have them through a filter all the time of congruent thinking, the congruent thinking of your departure point and arrival point, and a process of you discovering through this process all your competing beliefs that no longer serve you, all your competing habits and thoughts. And then through this to go much deeper than just to simply, let's just change overnight and become a better person. No, we've got to grow through a process over time. And that's when we become a better person and manifest what it is that we want. So that's really it. So what I'm offering here is an 8-week mastermind. So what I really do is I bring to life Napoleon Hill's teaching here and create for you a personal journey. So just to tell you, a mastermind is a very, very rich environment where you all learn from each other. So the richness of the mastermind is not just because I'm here. No, it's in your contribution and the contribution of others, and we all learn through that. I always say, judge a mastermind by what you give, not by what you get, what you contribute to the mastermind. So it's 8-week study, which includes all the deep dives into all the chapters in the book. The price is $249 for the 8 weeks. I have an early bird special for $149 until the 10th of March. So if you want to book, please book before the 10th of March and take the early bird price. And you can book yourself by going to my website, JeanineSciaccaInternational.com, and just click on the drop-down menu there or put / life-changing events, and you'll find it there. Now, a few things and rules before I continue is, if you're joining, the very first task is reading the chapter on persistence every day without missing one day for 14 days. And you've got to mark it by recording the dates that you read the chapter on persistence fully every day. And it's not by audio and not by scanning or skimming. It's reading properly. If you miss a day, sorry, you've got to start again. So if you want to start now, because we're only going to pick up this mastermind sometime in April, get the book now. If you haven't got a copy, if you want a copy from me, I'm selling these. They're $15. If you want me to post you one, I can. You want to pick it up from my office, you can. If you're overseas, buy yourself one. Please buy yourself a paperback version of Think and Grow Rich. Do not use a ebook. You're going to have to mark it up and make notes there. So get yourself a paperback version of the book. Also, if you have any questions between now and when it starts, please WhatsApp me, not text me. WhatsApp me. I'll be overseas. I only have access to messages via WhatsApp, or you can email me. If you're not living in Sydney and you want to join the mastermind, let's say you're overseas or in Perth or around Australia, somewhere else, or in another country, you can join via webinar. So when we meet, we'll also run the Zoom webinar just like this at the very same time. So it's not location dependent. And if you missed one or two through the 8 weeks, they are recorded and I can send them to you. So thank you for joining. It's been wonderful sharing this. I hope it's been helpful and given you some insight. If it was much to take in, just watch it again. Watch this webinar recording again. If you think it's valuable, please share it with other people to help other people. And remember, this mastermind's open for anyone. There's no limitation here. So if you want someone else to join this with you, and I must say, if you study this together with your partner or a friend or a business colleague, a peer, do that. It keeps you more accountable and you do even better. Keep yourselves accountable. It's a great program. It's a great mastermind. As I said, I do have a license to teach it from Paul Martinelli, who's one of the greatest mentors and teachers of this book. It'll definitely keep you growing. It'll keep you learning infinitely for the rest of your life. And this is a book, I must say, you can learn non-stop for the rest of your life. Okay, so my friends, that's it for the teaching tonight. We're going to go into a quick guided meditation. This has been a bit of a long lesson, so I do apologize for being a bit long. If you want to come back to the recording and do the meditation some other time, it's always here, it's for you. But otherwise, let's get into the guided meditation now. So basically what this is, it's a moment to reset the body and mind for the month, to set your intention for the month of March. What do you want to focus on for the month? I'm going to show you how you can tune into your higher self if you haven't done this before with me. Tune into your higher self to get inspiration and answers from a higher place of truth. And it's a quick 15-minute meditation where at the end I'm going to ask a few questions and you're going to get answers. So get please a pen and paper handy now, ready to write, and make yourself comfortable. Just rest the pen and paper loosely in your lap. And just close your eyes. So as you open your eyes, you can just write, and then you close your eyes again, go back in meditation as I ask the questions towards the end. So for now, I'm just going to stop my camera and turn on some meditation music. And just remember at the end, when you get answers, great. If you do, wonderful. If you don't, wonderful. There's no right or wrong. It just comes from, hopefully, your higher self or your intuitive self to guide you in your life. And whatever answers you do get, just know that you can trust these answers. All right. So just allow a deep breath and exhale. Find yourself a comfortable position. Close your eyes. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, allow the tensions in your body to release and float away. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, feel your body relaxing. Feel the tension leaving your scalp, the top of your head. Feel the tension leaving your forehead. Relax your forehead. Relax your eyes. Relax your cheeks. Relax your tongue and jaw. Relax your neck. Relax your shoulders, arms, and hands. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, feel the tension leaving your back. From the top of your neck all the way down your spine. Relax your chest. Relax your abdominal area. Relax your hips and pelvic area. Take another deep breath and allow the tension to leave your hips, your thighs, your knees, your calves, and your feet, all the way down to your toes. You are now experiencing a deep state of relaxation. Continue to breathe deeply, slowly, and rhythmically. Feel what a wonderful feeling it is to be deeply relaxed. You're now going to create in your mind an ideal place of relaxation for yourself. It can be real or imagined, somewhere that you've been or somewhere maybe that you'd like to go. Just allow it to be a place where you feel totally relaxed. Begin to experience this place right now. Now that you have created your ideal place of relaxation, you're going to add a waterfall of white light into the scene. Place it wherever you choose. The waterfall is gentle, allowing you to stand under the cascading white light. The light is a healing energy, a clearing energy. Your waterfall of white light is now created. Walk over to the waterfall and stand under the white healing light. Allow the white light to swirl around you, encompassing you within its glow. This white light is clearing away all the stress and the tension and the clutter of not only the day, the past week, the past month, and the past year, but clearing the tension, stress, and clutter of the lifetime of your energy field, from your atmosphere, from your aura. As it clears your energy field, notice how much happier you look. Notice and feel how much happier you look. Notice the smile on your face. See how the weights you've been carrying are no longer a burden. Notice how your energy field is expanding out as you are radiating love. This waterfall of light is always available to you whenever you need it. All you need to do is close your eyes and imagine your ideal place of relaxation and immerse yourself in this healing white light. Now take a deep breath, relax deeper, and repeat these beneficial statements to yourself mentally. Every day, in every way, I am getting better, better, and better. Positive thoughts, suggestions, and images bring me benefits and advantages I desire. I will always maintain a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. The following statements are for your better health. Keep in mind that from now on, I will be speaking in your place. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every cell, tissue, organ, and system of my body is revitalized, restored, and renewed, resulting in a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. I'm able to function in harmony physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to promote maximum benefits. My awareness in using my mind allows me to do activities that promote increased health physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now, imagine the white light turns to green. You are now immersed in a glowing green light. This green light is unconditional love. It surrounds you. It encompasses you. It flows through your entire being. It fills you with love. All those hurts you felt, all those pains you felt, the angry moments, allow this green light, this unconditional love, to heal all those spaces now. You are an amazing human being. You deserve love. You deserve joy. You deserve abundance and prosperity. And you deserve peace. Know that you are deserving. It is now time to step out of the waterfall. Step out of the waterfall of light. Your energy field is now clean and clear. You are centered and energized. You are able to think more clearly, focus more easily. You are in the flow of universal love and energy. Take a moment now to bask in this feeling of connectedness. You have now reset your body and mind for the month. It is now time to set your intention for the month of March. Tune in to your inner wisdom. Tune in to your higher self. That part of you that, if you tuned in, guides you and intuitively knows what is best for you. I'm going to count from 10 to 1. When we reach the count of 1, you will have tuned in to your higher self, the part of you that guides you. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are now tuned into your inner wisdom, your higher self. Feel the alignment with your higher self. Feel the connection. And now, ask yourself the following question, and whatever comes to mind, just write it down. Then take a deep breath, close your eyes again, and re-enter your meditation. The first question: what do I need to focus on for the month of March? What do I need to focus on for the month of March? The next question: what steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? Whatever comes to mind, write it down. Don't judge it, don't overthink it. Just write whatever comes to mind. What steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? The next question: what do I need to let go of? Whatever comes to mind, write it down, and then take a deep breath, close your eyes, and re-enter your meditation. What do I need to let go of? And the last question: is there anything else? Meaning, is there anything else I need to know or do? Is there anything else? Now allow a deep breath, and as you exhale, relax. Slowly bring your attention back to your body. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes. When you're ready, you can open your eyes, have a big stretch, feel wide awake, in perfect health, better than before. Blessings to all of you. Okay, welcome back. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that meditation, and whatever answers you got, you know that you can trust them. And if you got advice to do anything, I urge you, please act on it. Do not let wisdom come and flow to you and you don't act on it. You do need to act on it. Okay, just to end off for tonight or today, whichever time you're watching this, Next Meaningful Monday will be the 1st of April. I don't know the topic as yet. However, I'm going to the US from the 1st to the 18th of March. That's why this is recorded. And we'll be attending the John Maxwell team. So will Nancy. I'm very happy that she'll be joining. So she'll also get certified as a John Maxwell speaker, trainer, coach, which is very exciting. And really wonderful to have someone else working, with me in my business who's also certified by John Maxwell. So I think it just adds more power and dimension and richness and value to everyone that we meet and everyone that we speak to. I'm going to be certified and learning from John. So the next Meaningful Monday doesn't have a topic because I would potentially like to share some of the wonderful insights from the John Maxwell team event and what Nancy and I learned from John when we were there, and wrapping that up in a nice little package as a Meaningful Monday for all of you. So that'll be up next. Otherwise, for those wanting to do Silva Life System and Intuition, the next course is the 4th to the 7th of April, the 4-day immersion. If you've got children or know of any children between the age of 8 and 12, Silva Kids class is the 13th and 14th of April, the 2 days. Just remember, it is a requirement that at least one parent is a Silva graduate if you want to send one of your children. Just because we want you to support them, know what they are learning, not to think anything they're doing is weird. If they come home and say, I'm going to do my 3 fingers technique now, or I'm going to do a glass of water technique, don't say, oh, that's weird, what are you doing? And also, you want to lead by example, because children learn from what they see much more than what they're told. So that's that. Also, if you haven't done or you want to attend with your child, you can also bring your child to the adult class. You can be 8 or older and do any Silva Method class. There's no restriction for children. I've just put a kids class together, which is basically an expanded version of Silva Life System, the 2 days of the normal 4 days, and it's geared around children's examples like schoolwork and that kind of thing. Okay, just powered by your success, just here some of my graduates. I love you guys. You are my family. And yes, I just hope that you guys will be inspired or use your intuition to guide you to join the Think and Grow Rich Mastermind. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be fantastic. And even if you're not a Silva graduate, please do think about doing this phenomenal mastermind. It will definitely add value to your life. So for those of you who don't know what the Silva Method is, the 4-day program, it's basically all about these things: enhancing mind-body healing, learning to wake up without an alarm clock, sleeping very well without use of drugs for the rest of your life, living in the flow, transforming chaos into flow, how to train your mind to have more positive thoughts in your life, which gives you more positive outcomes, how to improve your performance, how to boost your creativity, how to achieve your goals, how to use your dreams to solve problems in your life or to innovate, and of course, how to develop and enhance your intuition. And then for anyone, if you work anywhere, my invitation is book me at your workplace to give a free 1-hour talk on the 4 key skills to take charge of your life based on the Silva Method. You might have heard me present this before. There are recordings of it on YouTube, on my channel. But in your workplace, organize a lunch and learn. It's 45 minutes to an hour during your lunchtime. It's free. Get all your colleagues together, a group of you, 10 or 20 or whatever it may be, and let me come into your workplace and present these 4 key skills. It's not about that you have to do the Silva Method. You can if you want to. It's not about that. I guarantee you will have some tips and techniques that you can use and apply in your life straight away, and they will be valuable. So I promise not to waste anyone's time. Okay, everyone, that's it from me. That brings us to the end of this Meaningful Monday. Just a reminder, if you want to do the Think and Grow Rich Mastermind, just look on Facebook or on my website, JanineSciaccaInternational.com, under Life-Changing Events, and book yourself in. The early bird ends on the 10th of March. Otherwise, have a wonderful day, wonderful evening, wonderful week ahead, wonderful month ahead, and God bless.